Welcome to Miraculous Merchandise Zone. It's a lot like bootleg zones, but I got a different color back there. That's right, it's the knockoff of my knockoff show about official products. Now, bootleg zones is still going to be my focus when it comes to these type videos, but I wanted a sideshow to highlight some pretty neat or just strange officially licensed products. And seeing as how my Classics Turtles video was kind of the prototype for bootleg zones, I figured I'd start this series off with Classics Bebop and Rocksteady. Now, with Wave 1 in the Classics Turtles line being the 4 turtles, who else would you expect in Wave 2 but their main villains, Krang and Bebop and Rocksteady? Alright. Now, of course, I wanted Classics Bebop and Rocksteady, it's just that, well, you kind of thought maybe Krang and Shredder would be in this wave as well? Now, of course, like with the turtles that came up before them, the Classics Bebop and Rocksteady packaging is meant to emulate the original Turtles line. Now, there's almost no change on the front of their packaging compared to the Turtles one, except for one thing. Where on the Turtles figures we were told specifically how many points of articulation they had, Bebop and Rocksteady are just fully articulated. Sweet! I've been waiting for a figure with ass-cheek articulation. I mean, clearly I can tell even before opening them that these guys are nicely articulated. It just seems weird to put fully articulated because, well, that means nothing. The card back's been updated to include Bebop and Rocksteady in the line of figures, and well, I hate to be really nitpicky, but I'm gonna do it anyway. What are these outfits Bebop and Rocksteady are wearing? They're not from anything. Not these figures, not quite the original figures, not the show, it just... what? Like, Bebop has never worn a white shirt under his vest, oh wait, I mean his big jacket, ever. Rocksteady did at least have a similar shirt over his tank top, mostly before he was mutated in the cartoon. And then Rocksteady had camo pants like this on the original figure in the first few episodes of the show, but pretty soon they just changed to plain brown pants, and this new figure doesn't wear either. What this most looks like is mutating Bebop and Rocksteady, because yes, why wouldn't you draw those two random figures that really have nothing to do with this release? But I like that they put the turtles in new poses, with Raph looking super pissed. But what the hell? Leonardo broke his neck! Alright, out of the packaging, and now I'll finally comment on these guys' appearance, and... I've definitely got some mixed thoughts on these guys, which mostly comes down to the head sculpts. Bebop and Rocksteady really don't match what they looked like in the cartoon like the Turtles did from this line. And I kind of thought one of the major points to this line was to give figures that more accurately represented the characters from the '87 show. I mean, this certainly was the case for the Turtles figures, so for it not to be with Bebop and Rocksteady just feels a little weird. Bebop's original figure kind of looks more like he did in the show just due to the head proportions. And Rocksteady comes with the helmet like he did on the original figure and wore for just a few episodes of the original show, but you can remove it so he looks more closely to his appearance through the majority of the show. And then you can put it on the old Rocksteady so that he's got double helmets. Double helmets? Oh my god! I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. I don't want you to think I'm completely hating on these guys just because they're not 100% accurate to the '87 cartoon. And my feelings about their accuracy aside, I do really like this more grotesque look of Bebop and Rocksteady. And if these were designs for Bebop and Rocksteady in a more serious take on the '87 Turtles series, I would really dig this. And again, like with the turtles in this line, parts of these guys seem to have more influence coming from the original action figure. like Bebop coming with the drill gun, and Rocksteady comes with a machine gun and knife. Or more of a machete in the new Rocksteady's case. But what they don't come with is an updated version of the manhole cover and trash can lid shields. I know, truly the biggest of big deals. So again, no real surprise, much like the Turtles in the Classics line, these guys are extremely posable. They are, however, missing several points of articulation that were present on the Turtles figures, most notably toe articulation. I mean, seriously, what am I supposed to do with figures without toe articulation? Also, Bebop and Rocksteady are just stuck there waving their arms as the Turtles can flip them off. There also seems to be some joints that seem almost impossible to move, like the pivot point on Bebop's wrist. I still can't get his wrist to move up or down like it's supposed to here. Yeah! Look at that articulation! That's the best I can get out of it. I think it's safe to say, unless they really drop the ball, all figures in this line will be of nice quality. While Bebop and Rocksteady are not quite as articulate as the Turtles who came before them, it's nothing that really matters, as they still have more articulation than most will know what to do with. 7. There is definitely some creativity going on with the head sculpts, but besides that, they are a mix of the cartoon and original figures. 6. The weird thing about these two, like I mentioned before, is despite supposedly being based more on the 87 cartoon look like the TMNTs before them, they are a bit more of a reimagining. It's also strange how in this line they claim to be based more on the 87 tune, but always have influence from the original figures, which for the most part I'm really okay with. But I swear, if we finally get a Shredder in this line and he's all blue helmet and purple masking it up, I'll not be very happy about it. 4. The Classics line's packages emulate the actual classic figures packaging, which is cool, but sometimes the newer artwork on these is a bit strange. Anyway, that's a minor complaint, and they are pretty nice. 7. And the MMZ overall is 8. There's a lot to enjoy on these two figures. The head design changes are strange, but when thought of as a newer incarnation of Bebop and Rocksteady, I can dig them. So these two are really cool, but I might have been a bit happier if they were more tune accurate. The next wave of figures in this line will be based on the original films, which look really cool, but be kind of nice to have a Krang, Shredder, Splinter, and April at least to go alongside these guys, so I really hope that's not horribly far off. Getting another set of the Turtles instead of different characters is slightly annoying at this point, especially where Wave 2 was only 2 figures, and seriously, Shredder really needs a figure in this line. Because seriously, there really never has been a decent figure based on the 87 Shredder. Closest thing was the Toon Shredder repaint of the original figure. I'm hoping the movie figures being next doesn't mean a lack of focus from now on in this line, or that interest will drop in it too low before we get some of the characters that would be really nice to have an updated figure for. However, at least the original android body Krang displays nicely alongside the Classics line, so you at least have Krang to bitch these two around. But of course, most importantly for this line, we need a gritty reinterpretation of Vernon and Irma. But seriously, can we get these two eventually? It'd be funny.
Bebop and Rocksteady, how dare you two get a classic figure before me? Oh, and to a much lesser extent, Soggy. Blast it, Krang! I need a classic figure more than you! Look at this figure! Since when did I ever wear a blue helmet with a purple mask? Oh, I can think of plenty of times! I thought you were wearing that because I don't really care.
Hey, you don't have to be cruel. This is just awkward. We're just gonna leave.
I'm sorry, Scotty.
Hi guys, check out my Patreon for early mid-roll free episodes, meaning no ads will play in the middle, and other perks.